Hello there everyone, this is Nathan Birch. So in this video, I wanted to go over this assignment 7, which is actually, so let's look at this aspect real quick. So we're gonna look at getting all of this into Python into a way that we can actually use it. So I'm gonna show you first how to put all of this into a list and then how to put it into a dictionary very easily using a couple of hotkeys that I'll tell you about in VS Code. So first, let's go ahead and copy this. I'll select all of it. There we go. And I'll just copy it and come over to my text editor. And here I'm just going to paste it. Okay. And actually, I'm going to remove that. I'm going to put it into an empty file here. And so this is not a Python file, just a regular file. Now let me show you guys about the couple of hotkeys that I wanted to show you. So if I click on code and then preferences and keyboard shortcuts, or if you're on a Windows computer, if you click on File, Preferences, Keyboard Shortcuts, you should see your keyboard shortcuts pop up here. Now, you should see something like this come up, but the main three that I'm going to talk to you about today is add cursor above and below, and add cursors to line ends. And your key binding might be different. It might, change the orientation of a Windows window. If that does, then go ahead and just hit this pencil and change it to a different key binding that'll work with your computer. Okay, so let me show you what it does though. So right here, if I say I want to add a cursor below, you can see I actually have a cursor on each one of these now. I can move my arrows around. I can move my cursor around with my arrows, and so forth. So what I'm first going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put a cursor on every single line using this add cursor below hotkey. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add a cursor to each one, and once I have them, I'm just going to hit Shift. And if I hold Shift and just hit my right arrow, you can see it's like selecting everything that I move over. Okay, well, if I hit my End key, or on a Mac, if I hit Command right arrow, then you can see I jumped to the end of the line. Or if I hit my Home key, or Command left arrow, I jumped to the beginning. Okay, so now if I hold Shift and hit my End key, you can see I selected all of those. Okay, now in VS Code, there's a nice little shortcut where if you have something selected, if you hit the quotation mark, you can put it in quotes. Or if you hit the curly brace, you can put it into curly braces. Or if you hit the opening square bracket, you can put it into square brackets. Okay, so really, we just made a bunch of lists. Okay, we copied it straight from that web page, and now we have a bunch of valid lists in Python that currently aren't assigned to anything. But if I wanted to, I could say, hey, I'm going to make a list called elements. And then this closing curly brace, I'm going to put at the bottom here. Okay, so now, whoops. There we go. Okay, so now I have a list of lists. The only thing is I need a comma at the end of each one of these. So we could very easily do our add cursor below command, and then hit Command right or your End key to go to the end of the line and just add a comma to each one of these. An easier way is to select everything you want to select, because I can go down faster than the selection can. And now that I have these, I'm going to hit Command Shift L, or if you look on your keyboard shortcuts, this add cursors to end lines. And then now you can see I actually have a cursor on the end of each line. I'll just add a comma and delete that last comma. Okay, and then I can save that. But this is a valid Python list of lists. Okay, if I come up to the top, a lot of the time, if you see a nested set of lists like this, you'll see it tabbed over just so that it's really clear that these items are inside of something else. And you can see I can paste this here. And then if I say print elements, let's go ahead and run this, make sure we don't have a syntax error. You can see it printed up. It printed up all that data, the list of lists. Okay, now using those same hotkeys, let's go ahead and convert this into a dictionary. Okay, so to convert this to a dictionary, first, I guess I will use one other hotkey here. And I'll show you guys which one it is. So selection. Okay, add selection to next find match is Command D. So that will actually add a cursor to the next place that you have something selected. And so I'm going to use that, but I'll actually select all of those. Okay, and so mine is Command Shift D. let's see. Selection to next and match. Anyways, so I can select all those. You can use the same command that we used earlier though with the add cursor above or add cursor below, or you could also just scroll, select it all, and then use the command to add a cursor to end lines. Okay, now we got to put this into a dictionary, so I'm going to hit my home key or command left arrow, and then I need to change this square bracket into a curly brace. I'm going to go to the end. Whoops. I need to change that to a curly brace. But dictionaries have key value pairs. So this one needs a key, so we'll say the key here will be symbol. And then a colon, and there we have our first key value pair. Now I want to move over to the other side of this value of this key. But you can see like boron, it only has a B for its symbol, and most of these have 2 characters. And so if I want to jump over a word, I can hold Option, or on a Windows computer, I can hold Control and hit my right arrow, and it will jump by word. So I'll jump over here on this side of this comma, and then right here I'll put name. And then right here, I'll put a colon, and then you can see we have our key value pair for the name and the value for the name. Okay. Now there are some spaces there. I want to remove those just for my own sanity. So I'm going to hold Shift and Option and right arrow, and then I'll hit my left arrow. And then while holding Shift, I'll hit my left arrow again. You can see some of them have 2 spaces. Some of them have 1. I'll go ahead and just hit a space to replace all that with just 1 space. Okay. I'm going to hold Option and go to the right. And I'll go to the left one, so I'm at the beginning of each one of these numbers. Okay, I'm going to add a key of mass and a colon like that. And that should work for us. There's quite a bit of empty space on some of these lines beforehand, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that the same way that I did a second ago. Okay, now this isn't very pleasant to look at, but if we scroll through here, you'll notice that we don't really have any red lines. I guess we have one right there. We accidentally put a square bracket right there. Let's go ahead and save this, and let's see if it works for us. Okay, so you can see we have dictionaries inside of a list. Okay, so that did work for us. All right, now a lot of the time what you'll see is people will actually, when writing programs like this, they'll want to split these up. So I'm going to select all this again for the last time and add a cursor to line ends. Go to the beginning, and then I'm holding my Option or Control key to jump words. And then right here, I'll just hit Enter. Okay, and I'll hit a space to make it line up there. Holding Option again to jump over words, and then I'll hit Enter again. And you can see that looks a little bit nicer. It's a little bit easier to read. Okay, and see where everything is. So hopefully that helps. If you guys have any questions, please let me know, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.